What is up, everyone, and welcome back to my channel for another Star Wars Hot Toys figure unboxing and review video. Today we are going to be taking a look at Mace Windu based on his appearance in Star Wars Attack of the Clones Episode 2, played by the great Samuel L. Jackson. This figure to me is one that I am very excited for because obviously Mace Windu is to me a very intriguing character. It's one of those characters that I don't think we've really gotten a good look as far as all his origin story and things like that, right? Also after Revenge of the Sith, I feel like there could be a story for him as well. So very intriguing character for sure. Also, we aren't really gonna get a Mace Windu too often from Hot Toys, so now that we finally got one based on Attack of the Clones, might as well take advantage of it, right? If you guys are interested in purchasing him, I'm not sure if he's in stock, but I'll go ahead and include the link to Sideshow Collectibles on the description of the video where I did purchase him from. So with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and get started on the review. Okay, starting off with the design of the box. So we get a taller box than usual, but we get the same design that we always get with all these Star Wars figures. So first we get an image of Mace Windu throughout the whole background. We get a name of the figure, Star Wars logo, and again the background is pretty much in color black, which is pretty much the same thing for every single Star Wars figure. This time the image of Mace Windu is from the actual figure, not the actual character. On the right side, pretty much just a plain black background along with a Star Wars logo and the name of the figure on the left corner. On the back, name of the figure at the top, and warning and legal information by Hot Toys, along with the black background that again surrounds the whole box. And then again, same thing on the left side, except that the logos are on the right side of the screen, right? One thing that I will mention with this box is that we unfortunately don't get that banner that Hot Toys sometimes uses with some of the figures, so very unfortunate, right? But this would be pretty much it for the main cover of the box. Now with the second box, and as I always like to mention, Hot Toys always does a second box to pretty much show what they would do if they were in full control, right? So we get pretty much a Attack of the Clones logo along with the name of the figure. We get a pretty much a 20-year anniversary of the movie logo on the left side. We get an image of Mace Windu along with a clear view of the figure, and pretty much the background, as you guys can see from the top and bottom with the Star Wars logos, right? The background does kind of have its stars to kind of represent the galaxy. So to me that looks really awesome. And again, as I mentioned before, this would be the cover if Hot Toys was in full control, right? On the right side we get pretty much kind of like an imagery of Geonosis where the Clone Wars starts pretty much, right? We get obviously a Star Wars logo and a black background underneath that orange background at the top. We get on the back Attack of the Clones logo again, the figure and imagery, right? The name of the figure, more warning and legal information, and again in the background that kind of sandy type of background to represent Geonosis where a lot of the movie takes part of, right? Here on the left side we get again an image of the figure, Star Wars logo at the top, the name of the figure in the middle, and this pretty much paragraph on the bottom kind of describing the figure if you guys do want to stop it to kind of read, right? But it does have all that wording. So this would be the second box, by far a much more detailed box than the first one. Really cool start for sure with the boxes. And now with the figure itself, so as you guys can see, as always, we get that kind of plastic clear view of the figure, right, with all of its accessories. Again, really been looking forward to getting this guy. So for now, first impressions are pretty good, right? That face sculpt has created a lot of controversy based on some of other collectors videos, right? So I can't wait to talk about the guy's face sculpt, right? I have a pretty, I wouldn't say unique thought about the head sculpt, but we'll see what you guys have to say about my opinion about the head sculpt. But for now, I would say a good start. I like the body proportions. The guy is a little bit taller than I expected, so I would say for sure off to a good start, right? I really can't see something too bad about him. So as always, guys, as I always like to mention, after we did the unboxing, we're gonna go ahead and do the accessories in detail. We'll do the figure in full detail as far as reviewing him, and then we'll do a couple of poses, some side-by-side comparisons, articulations, and at the end pretty much just give my final thoughts on the guy. Starting off with the accessories, guys. So with the accessories, we get a couple of things. It's not a lot, but I think it's enough for the figure itself. So starting off with the display base, we get that regular rectangular display base with a Star Wars Mace Windu nameplate in the front. So pretty much we get this kind of like shiny type of sleeve slippery type of cover, right? That is supposed to represent Geonosis, right? And this is the first time that I get this display base, I guess, cover, right? That looks pretty nice. I really love how it looks, right? I love the shininess, but underneath it we get the normal Star Wars display base. If you guys don't like this Geonosis cover, we also do get a crotch grabber, right? That is pretty kind of long and wide, so that at least gives us an option to pose the figure in more different ways. So again, that would be pretty much the display base. I am really liking the cover, right, with the sand and pretty much describing Geonosis. And then we also get two purple lightsaber effects, one a normal one and this one right here that I have in front of me, which is the motion one. This is the first time that I ever get a purple lightsaber, so I'm really intrigued to see how bright it lights up, right? And we'll go ahead and do that a little bit later on the video, right, to see how bright those lightsaber effects turn on, right? But we get the normal effects as always. We do get also these two different, I would call them kind of armors, right? Or I would call them armors pretty much, right? So these is pretty much his armor from the Clone Wars, right? One with pretty much kind of like a radio communicator on that hand that I believe goes on the right side, and then on the left arm it's this one, right? And that one has the Jedi Order logo on it, which is pretty much accurate to the Clone Wars. So we'll try these onto the figure, right? We have two different looks with the figure. We get the normal look that he has on Revenge of the Sith / Attack of the Clones, but then we also get the look from the Clone Wars, so very intrigued to see how it looks. And then we get two lightsabers, so one with the USB cable that Hot Toys has been using often with the last figures. We'll see again, as I mentioned before, how bright it turns on. And then this lightsaber does not have any type of USB cable, so it can either be used to pose without the cable, right? But obviously the lightsaber wouldn't turn on. And then the other option would be to hang it onto his belt, right, which I believe it is on the front side. So we get those two options again, as I mentioned before, with the USB cable. We'll see how bright it turns on. And then we get a Yoda hologram, I guess, figurine, if I can mention that way, or accessory. So one thing that changes is the small display base that comes with the hologram accessory, right? It seems that it's easier to have it on the figure's hand, so we'll see how it fits on Mace Windu's hands, right? And then speaking of hands, so we get a variety of hands, and my god, the detailing on these hands, guys, is absolutely amazing. Just look at the vein work, the fingernails, I guess the lines, you know, to divide obviously the fingers and the palm and things like that, man. These are some really good hands. One is pretty much just his hand wide open. We can either use it to kind of show him using the Force, and then the other one would be obviously to hold on to the lightsaber from his right hand. The other two hands would be pretty much just kind of semi-open palm hands, and I would assume that these hands are to hold onto that Yoda hologram, right? Which again, we'll try it on a little bit later on once we do the posing part of the video, right? Again, as I mentioned before, the detailing on these hands is absolutely amazing. It's some of the best hands that I have ever seen. The last of his normal hands is pretty much this hand pose right here that I would personally assume is used to have it hold on to his belt, right? Just kind of like a arm type of holding onto his belt to show a different pose. So I am assuming that is what it's for, right? And then the other hands are pretty much to represent that Clone Wars look, again, to match up with the other armor that comes with it. So again, we get this kind of open palm hand again, and we get this hand right here as well. The hand on the left, I think, would be once again to hold on to that Yoda hologram, and the other one just to kind of show him using the Force. And then the other two pieces of hands, pretty much same thing, right? It's for to hold on to the lightsaber. So the difference is that with the Clone Wars armor, we get two hands for the lightsabers. With the normal hands, we just get one, right? So no complaints about that, right? I think it's fine. I really don't see any issue with it. But this would be pretty much it for the accessories. I think for now we are off to a good start, but I'll hold my thoughts until I actually turn on that lightsaber to see if I think these are great accessories or they're just above average. But for now, off to a good start. Okay, now we get to the figure to pretty much describe this guy in full detail. So we have his full look with the robe slash cloak that it comes with, and obviously the face sculpt itself. So let's start off with the face sculpt, guys. So I've heard a lot of different opinions. I've heard some negative ones, I've heard some positive ones. For me, the face sculpt, I love the skin texture. I think it's nicely painted. I like the facial expression as well, right? I think Hot Toys made a good choice with the facial expression, but I do think that the execution wasn't perfect. I think the head sculpt, it's a good one, but I can't go great, right? I sort of see Samuel L. Jackson from certain angles, but from some angles he doesn't really look much like Samuel L. Jackson, so I can't go great, right? Again, I do think it's a good head sculpt. I like the facial expression, and I think it's nicely painted, right? And I love the fact that there's no seam lines, and it's pretty much connected on a ball joint underneath his neck, right? And then the cloak itself, I have a lot of issues with the cloak itself, guys. I think it's nicely done. I love the fabric of it. It's really soft, but it has no wiring whatsoever. None on the sides, none on the back, not even on the hood. My goodness, how do they not do wiring on the hood? As you guys can see, one of the issues that I have is that it does get stuck onto the clothes, so we kind of have to pull it away from time to time whenever we post the figure, so that way it's not too kind of tied up to his actual body. Again, as I mentioned before, I love the fabric of it, but look at the hood. I mean, it has no wiring, so it is pretty much impossible to post the figure with the hood on, right? Unless you have the patience to do this for hours, but I'm not gonna do that, right? Again, I just think it's inexcusable for Hot Toys not to do any type of wiring on this clothes, so that is going to limit us, unfortunately, when it comes to posing the guy. So we're gonna just have to pose it the way that I have it right now. But let's go ahead and take off the clothes so that way we can see the rest of the outfit. Okay, now with the outfit itself, so pretty much with this outfit, we're able to see more of the figure. I think the outfit is absolutely amazing. I love the way it looks, right? The body proportions also on the guy, I'm able to see it better now that I don't have the big clothes. I think the body proportions are great. The guy looks tall. He has presence to him, and to me, his outfit was done very nicely. The belt, if I'm not mistaken, it is made out of pleather, but I really don't have an issue. By the way, that's where the lightsaber goes. I think the belt looks nice. It has accessories to it. I really don't find any issues with it. If you guys do, let me know in the comments. But to me, I think it's fine. I really don't have any issues with the clothing. It's nothing too extra to mention, right? Obviously, he has like a white robe below this this clothing, right? But I think it looks nice, and underneath he has like some sort of white pants. So I think that's accurate to the movie. Now the boots, sadly, they're pleather again. And I really don't like pleather because of the look of it. It just looks cheap to me. But one thing that they have done differently is that on the ankles, they've replaced that pleather with some type of fabric that really helps a lot, because that means that if we are to bend the legs or fold them in any way, this time the material is not going to get torn apart, right? This time we're able to bend them, and the fabric is pretty sustainable, right? So that's great at least. But I do wish they would at least get rid of all of the pleather, right, and just substitute it with possibly a fabric or plastic or something else to just make it better. Now, I did want to go ahead and try the Clone Wars armor, right? So just to kind of show you how it works. So underneath the outfit, we get these type of arm clothing, pretty much, right? So we're supposed to remove that, right? So we first would remove the hand, right? And then let's go ahead and remove that piece of clothing, right, that is supposed to go with this regular outfit, right? The good thing is that it seems easy to pop back on, right? So that's a great thing, right? I don't think we'll have a lot of issues, right? And this is how we're supposed to have the hand. And then we're supposed to bend the whole outfit part of it, of the arm. And then once we fold it together, we're supposed to go ahead and put this kind of arm brace on top of it to pretty much hold that clothing together, right? So that way it doesn't go sideways. And as you can see, now we have it all together. So I did go ahead and put the left arm as well, and this is the way that it's supposed to look, right? The instructions on the figure does also include how to do it, right? And then we have now the armor for the Clone Wars. So just make sure that the Jedi Order logo piece does go on his left hand. Please correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I think I'm doing it right. I think the Jedi Order logo armor is supposed to go on the left side, and then the other piece of armor with the kind of buttons, right, to represent, like, you know, communication and things like that, it's supposed to go on the right. Of course, also remember to include the pieces of hands with the clone armor, so that way it matches the look of it. And then let me go ahead and just install this arm, right? Pretty much I'm just trying any arm at this point, just so that way you guys get a look of how it looks with the full Clone War armor. And now looking at the guy with the Clone War armor, honestly guys, he's winning me over, man. I thought that it was going to be easy for me to just pose him with the regular armor with the clothes, right? Or tunic, whatever you guys want to call it. But man, this Clone Wars look is absolutely awesome. I love how it looks, and I just love the clothing a lot as well, right? The white color of the armor matches so well with the kind of khaki color type of you know, clothing accessories for the guys. So it looks really nice. Let me know in the comments which is the better look, which is the whether it's the Clone Wars armor look or the regular armor. I'm sorry, not the armor, but the regular clothing with the tunic. But to me, it looks really nice. No issues as far as the look with the outfit or the armor. And then also guys, wanted to take a look over the articulations of the guys. So the legs don't split that much because of the outfit, so the outfit does kind of have its limits. So I don't want to tear the fabric of the clothing in any type of way. Now the legs do bend back pretty normally without any issues, so I think we're good there. But the issue would just probably be sideways. Same thing with the front, so it does bend to the front, but not as much because again of the clothing. And then the boots itself, as I mentioned before, right, so they bend pretty nicely front and back, and also to the sideways. And thankfully we have that fabric that is going to prevent us from damaging the figure, right? So that is at least a good thing, right? Also, as far as the body itself, so the body doesn't really move that much to the front. So let me just go ahead and adjust my hand so that way you guys can see. So it moves to the front all the way there, but that's pretty much it. And then to the back there, right? So we really don't get that much you know, articulations when it comes to the actual full body itself. It does move sideways a little bit as well, so I guess that's good. And then the hands do move to the top right a little bit. The outfit does kind of limit it a little bit, but not as much as the legs. It does move to the, I'm sorry, the arm moves to the front all the way till there, and then the elbows bend all the way till there. So that is at least a little bit flexible, and that is going to give us options when it comes to posing the figure in fighting motion or with the lightsaber as well. To the back, it moves all the way there, so that's pretty good to me, right? No issues with it. And just make sure you guys adjust the arms back to normal, so that way they don't get set up in the wrong way. And then the head sculpt moves pretty much any way you guys want to. So it's connected to a ball joint and is completely seamless. It is pretty flexible, and then it does move to the back and to the front, as you guys were able to see it there. So no issues with the articulations. I think the figure moves good enough for us to pose it. The hand itself also moves on the ball joint that it comes connected to the arm pretty nicely. So I really don't have any issues with the articulations. I think they're great, not perfect, but great enough for me to be able to pose this figure in different ways. Okay, so now to the lightsaber, guys. So I am really nervous about this part because, man, I am big on having the brightest lightsabers possible so that way we can post the figure much nicer and the figure can look cooler, right? All of the lightsabers that I've gotten from Hot Toys have been disappointing. Probably the Vader figure from Kenobi was probably the best one. That one at least was average, I would say. But the other ones, like the Inquisitors and my Luke Skywalker figures, they've all been pretty disappointing. Now, as you guys can see, the way it connects is like the other old figures. So we get two options to put pretty much on that box to either connect it onto the crotch grabber or to his belt or to the figure's belt, right? So now let me go ahead and turn off the light so that way we can turn on the lightsaber and you guys can see how bright this lightsaber is. And that's pretty much turned on right there. And honestly, guys, I'm not sure how it looks to you guys on camera, but just looking at it in person, to me, this is very disappointing. Very disappointing. It turns on, but it barely does. And then if we turn on back my camera light, I mean, you can even barely see that it turns on. I am sorry, guys. I don't mean to be too negative, but this is way too low of a lighting. And once again, Hot Toys disappoints us with this lightsaber lighting. I just don't understand why can't they give us like really shiny bright lightsabers to actually make it seem like it's turning on. I mean, just look at this fighting motion lightsaber effect. I mean, I can't even tell that it's turned on, only from the very beginning, kind of like the tip of the actual lightsaber. That's the only part that really looks turned on, but everything else looks like it's completely turned off. Honestly, very disappointing with these lightsaber effects. I thought that they would be better, but at the same time, as I always mention on other videos, this is where Hot Toys gets lazy, right? They just there's certain things that they could do just so much better with these figures, and they continue to let us down with the lightsaber effects, right? I mean, my god, I can't even turn it off to save my life. Sorry about that, guys. But unfortunately with the lightsaber, very disappointing with the lighting effects. Honestly, I'm not even gonna bother connecting the cable onto the figure whenever I pose them. I'll just pose it with the lightsaber turned off, right? It'll save me time, and I won't have to get as frustrated. Okay, now with a couple of side-by-side comparisons, right? So we have two, right? First, we have Padme. So obviously Padme, because of the same movie. So this is my second figure from Attack of the Clones. The first one being Padme Amidala, right? Played by obviously Natalie Portman, right? The third figure should be Anakin, which hopefully gets here soon. First of all, I am shocked how tall Mace Windu is. Now, obviously, it's pretty obvious he has to be taller than Natalie Portman, but I did not expect him to be this tall. But glad to know that I have both figures, right? By the way, one thing that I forgot to mention whenever I was reviewing the head sculpt, right? So, can somebody explain to me how is it that we get rotating eyes for Padme and also for Anakin, but not for Mace Windu? I mean, really? We can't get rotating eyes for Mace Windu? I mean, when are we going to get another Mace Windu? So sadly, Mace Windu does not have rotating eyes, and as you guys can see here, Padme does, Mace Windu doesn't. So very disappointing, right? So, but this would be the first comparison. Most likely I'll post these two guys together since they are both from the same movie. Okay, and then next side-by-side comparison would be with Mr. Vader himself from the Kenobi series. Now, this is a very weird side-by-side comparison, but because of my lack of Star Wars figures at this time, right, sometimes I just have to come up with the weirdest, comparisons. The reason I did Vader is just because of the size, right? I wanted to see how tall Mace Windu was compared to Vader, and as you guys can see, Vader still pretty much towers over Mace Windu, but not as much as other figures, right? But also, I believe that there's like a really unique relationship between these two characters. Now, obviously, in this case, I would be talking about Anakin, right? Because I don't think Mace Windu ever sees Vader, right? Obviously, Anakin, pretty much cuts his arm, and Palpatine throws him off the window on Revenge of the Sith, and we really don't know anything afterwards for Mace Windu, right? So we really don't get Vader and Mace Windu, but Windu and Anakin, I thought, had a really interesting relationship. Mace, I thought, never really trusted Anakin, and Anakin, I felt like always had that kind of, I would say pretty much this rage towards Mace, because Mace really would never accept him as a Jedi Master, right? So the relationship between these two characters to me is very intriguing. It's something that I wish would be a little bit more explored in future Star Wars projects. But this would be the second side-by-side comparison. As you guys can see, both figures are really tall, and I am happy to have both of them on my collection. Okay, guys, finishing up here on Mace Windu from Attack of the Clones. So, just to kind of give my final thoughts on the guy, I like him. I think it is a really good figure. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Let me take that back. I think it's a good figure, but I don't think it's a great figure. To me, some of the positive things about the guy, I think his body proportions are great. He's tall. He has presence. I think the articulations are good enough. I also like his hands a lot. His hands have a lot of detailing with all of the vein work. The poses are great as well, right? I really like the fact also that they finally did some fabric on that ankle area with the boots, right, that are made out of pleather to prevent the fabric of the boots, from being torn apart, or the material. So those are things that are positive. Also, I think that the outfit underneath the tunic, right, his regular kind of khaki light brown outfit is great. But the negative things about the guy, number one, his tunic, even though I like the fabric of it and the how it's made, I just don't understand how they do not include any type of wiring, not even on the hood. So to me, that's an issue. And then also the fact that it gets stuck to the clothing, right, because of the material. So it seems like it's kind of like glue into his body basically. And then also the face sculpt itself, I don't think it's a negative, but it's not a positive either. I would say it's an okay head sculpt, right? But let me know in the comments, guys, what you think about that head sculpt for Samuel L. Jackson. Again, to me, it is a good head sculpt, not a great one. Now, looking at this post, another positive thing too, I would say, would be the armor for the Clone Wars. I think it is a great look, and it's one that I'm really thinking about using for the figure. But I'll stick to his regular tunic because it's supposed to be a figure for Attack of the Clones, not the Clone Wars, right? So I'm gonna stick with the tunic, right, as a look for the figure once I do post them on my display cases. But pretty much this would be it for the video, guys. I am happy to have Mace Windu. I think a really good figure, but I just can't go great. Please let me know in the comments, guys, what you guys think about this Mace Windu figure, if you guys picked him up and if you guys like him or not. As I mentioned before at the beginning of the video, if you guys do want to go ahead and purchase him, I will include the link to Sideshow Collectibles on the description of the video, if in case he is in stock to go ahead and purchase. Also, guys, I want to thank you as always for supporting me and my channel, right? It means the world to me, all the support that you guys provide on a daily basis. If it is the first time that you're watching me, as always, make sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notifications bell if you are fans of Hot Toys and want to see more unboxings and reviews from me, or figure previews as well, right? So make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and also hit the notifications bell. And also remember that I am on Instagram and TikTok. The links to that are on the description of the video. Make sure to follow me there to see images of figures like Mace Windu, and also any updates that I have on my channel. So once again, guys, this is it for this Mace Windu from Attack of the Clones unboxing and review video. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time.